The story begins in Macau, where Shiming hacks into the police surveillance system and corrupts their footage with a sophisticated piece of code that he has been perfecting for months. An officer notices some static on a screen for a brief moment, but the disturbance quickly disappears, so he assumes that nothing is wrong and turns his attention back to his coffee. Then an alarm blares throughout the station, and the police discover that an important bank has been robbed in the middle of the night. They immediately dispatch their best team and activate an AI surveillance system called SPICE, which is designed to track criminals across the entire city. The computer scans every camera in Macau and quickly locates the thieves' vehicle, though their hands appear empty on the screen because they have already hidden the money. Numerous police cars rush to the location with their sirens wailing, but when they arrive, the street is completely deserted. Back at the station, officers are still watching the thieves' car on their screens until they finally realize that their system was hacked and that they have been watching fake footage all along. By the time they understand this terrible mistake, the criminals are already far away and have vanished into the night. The next day, the police learned that only one specific vault was targeted inside the bank. It belonged to a wealthy businessman who kept half of his crypto account, which is valued at $500 million, inside a simple notebook that he stored in that vault because he did not trust digital storage. At the Macau Tower, the thieves take over the offices of a digital asset management company during business hours. They beat up several employees and take everyone hostage, locking the doors and covering the windows. One employee is forced at gunpoint to open the server room door, and then Shahosin gives Shiming full administrative access to the computers.
While they are downloading the second half of an encrypted password from the servers, they realize that this company works with extremely high-profile clients, including the CEO of the country's most important crypto asset, whose account is protected by military-grade security and holds a staggering $10 billion.
Ignoring Long Seng's sharp warning not to waste time, Shiming orders Shahosin to copy that data as well, greed getting the better of him. Just then, the police arrive outside the building, and the thieves scramble toward the elevators in a panic. Long Seng, who has been sitting casually in a cafe in the lobby pretending to read a newspaper, is able to walk out without raising any suspicion, except for one moment when he accidentally steps into the frame of a barista who is taking a photo of a customer. As the gang exits the elevator on the ground floor, the cops spot them immediately, and a high-speed chase erupts through the building's corridors. The criminals shove civilians aside as they run, knocking over tables and displays. But when they reach the main exit, they find the police blocking their way with cars and weapons drawn. The two teams clash in a highly skilled fight that involves punches, kicks, and improvised weapons. During the melee, the thieves capture Captain Yalai and take him hostage with a knife to his throat. The other officers cannot risk firing because they might hit their captain, so they are forced to watch helplessly as the criminals drag him into an elevator and escape to the upper floors. Outside, Long Seng tells his driver to start the car and wait, even though the gang has not yet returned from the tower. When the elevator reaches an upper floor, Yalai tries to fight the thieves again, using his training to break free temporarily, but one man cannot hold his own against four of them. They quickly overpower him, handcuff him to a railing, and beat him until he is barely conscious. At the observation deck at the top of the tower, the thieves put on parachutes and leap off the building. As they descend through the air, one of them shoves a woman who is standing near the edge, and she ends up dangling from the railing at the last second, screaming for help. Yalai has to save her first, crawling to the edge and pulling her up just as her fingers slip. Because the elevators have been hacked by Shiming remotely, Yalai cannot go down normally, so he crashes into a bungee jumper who is about to leap and rides down with him, landing safely on an emergency inflatable mattress that the police had set up for another purpose. On the hotel rooftop where the thieves were supposed to land, another police team awaits them, and another fierce fight breaks out. The criminals easily defeat the officers, using their superior hand-to-hand combat skills, and then they use hidden tools and masks that they had stashed on the roof to jump off again, this time onto a lower ledge. Long Seng, now in a clever disguise with a fake beard and glasses, arrives at the hotel and deliberately creates small distractions, such as dropping a tray of drinks and arguing with a bellhop, to keep the manager's attention away from his team. The thieves roam through the hallways, constantly changing their disguises. Sometimes they look like tourists with cameras, and sometimes they look like hotel employees carrying linens. Yalai spots Shahosin in a crowd and recognizes him because of an earring that he remembers from the elevator fight, a small gold hoop that caught the light. He gives chase through the corridors, but Shahosin slips into the cafeteria area and hides in plain sight among the lunchtime clients, putting on a waiter's jacket that he steals from a cart. Just then, the body cam system detects a man whose face is not registered in any police database, which is highly suspicious. The police immediately run after him, pushing through the crowd. Long Seng intentionally bumps into one of the officers, spilling hot coffee on his shirt and smudging his camera lens with his sleeve. Shahosin uses the moment to move to a different area, and the officers split in two directions to cover more ground. He puts on a woman's wig and dress that he had hidden in a bathroom, while his partner disguises himself as an old man with a cane and a limp, and both of them slip away easily through a service exit. In the lobby, a special light show is underway with flashing lasers and fog machines, so the remaining thieves mix into the crowd while pretending to be security guards wearing the hotel's uniform. As soon as the police arrive at the lobby, the criminals jump into a decoration pit filled with foam and crawl out silently from under the platform on the other side, disappearing into a service hallway. Back at the police station, the businessman starts screaming and breaking things in the interrogation room because all of his money has been drained from his crypto account. The police team discusses what to do next, feeling defeated and outmatched. Inspector Jumai suggests that they need to bring back their retired boss, a man who built the surveillance unit from scratch. Yao objects loudly and asks how an old man can deal with modern AI tracking and digital hacking, but Jumai reminds him that Spice is now hacked and completely useless. She argues passionately that they need someone who knows old-school policing, the kind that relies on instinct, observation, and patience rather than computers. The officers go to recruit the legendary Agent Wong, whose personnel file is filled with impressive achievements. He is a special lobs champion, a hand-to-hand combat champion, and an expert in everything from firearms to intelligence gathering. His career has only one major blemish, which is that he accidentally got his own partner killed during a hostage situation years ago. When they arrive at a quiet neighborhood with small houses and gardens, they are shocked to find Agent Wong simply walking his dog, an old golden retriever, and wearing sweatpants. Kyugua, who is the daughter of Wong's deceased best friend, follows him to a small cafe and sits down next to him while pretending to be a student studying for an exam. Wong immediately comes over to her table and reveals that he has been watching her, and Jin Xiao follow him all day, noting every mistake they made. He even already knows her name without being told. It turns out that Kyugua is the daughter of Wong's deceased best friend, and they have not seen each other since she was a little girl at her father's funeral. He congratulates her on inheriting her father's badge number, which she wears proudly on her uniform, and then he points out all the mistakes they made while tailing him, including walking too fast and checking their watches too often. He has even stolen Jin Xiao's badge off his belt without Jin Xiao noticing, and he hands it back with a smirk. Soon, Wong is at the police station, where he reviews the body cam footage and the few surviving clips from the hotel that were saved on an offline drive before the hack. In just a few minutes, he easily identifies all the thieves because each one of them looked directly at the camera to check if it was on or off, a common habit among experienced criminals. At the gang's hideout, which is a rented warehouse on the outskirts of the city, Long Seng starts beating Shiming for wasting time and getting them nearly caught. When Shahosin tries to stop him, Long Seng beats him as well because he is furious that his own face was captured on camera after years of staying hidden from law enforcement. The fight escalates until Long Seng pulls out a knife and threatens to kill Shiming, and the other thieves have to physically restrain him and calm him down together. Back at the station, while piecing together screenshots on a whiteboard, Wong notices a tall man who appears in every piece of footage, always in the background but never interacting directly. The police also find the barista's photo from the cafe, which shows the same tall man standing behind Long Seng, and this confirms that the man is part of the gang. Wong remembers a wanted ex-agent known as Shadow, who served in an elite assassination squad during a forgotten war. Shadow left the force in 1980 to chase money as a mercenary, and he vanished without a trace in 1999 after a failed heist in Hong Kong. Wong believes that the tall man is Shadow, and he has now returned to pull off one last job. He urges immediate surveillance on all known associates, but Jumai explains that they have no surveillance team left because Spice replaced all human trackers years ago. She does grant him permission to form an emergency squad for this special case, though Wong doubts that anyone can be trained in time to catch such skilled criminals. In the gym, Kyugwa is training hard on the punching bags, while other cops mock her for being too short to be a cop, making jokes about her height within earshot. She ignores them at first, focusing on her technique until her patience finally breaks. She challenges the loudest officer to a sparring match and easily takes him down in front of his own team with a swift leg sweep and an arm lock. Wong witnesses this from the doorway and privately appreciates her, telling her later that she has earned their respect through action, not words. That evening, on the roof of the police station, he drinks alone from a flask and remembers the death of Kyu Gua's father in vivid detail. He promises himself silently to take care of her and to never let history repeat itself. The next day, he announces that he will personally train a surveillance team of 6 officers, and Kyu Gua immediately signs up, eager to prove herself. He teaches them how to move without being detected by using reflections, shadows, and crowd patterns, and how to lock every tiny detail of a suspect's appearance and behavior in their minds through memory exercises. On their first field day, the team poses as armed citizens to maintain their cover in a busy shopping district, but Wong keeps Kyu Gua with him in the van as his hidden trump card because she is small and fast and can get into tight spaces. Whenever a team member makes a mistake, such as looking directly at the target or speaking too loudly, Wong gets out of the van just to scold them personally, making sure everyone learns from the error. 12 days later, Shiming is planning one last mission so that Long Seng can retire in peace and everyone can live quietly on a beach somewhere. He has found the server location for the CEO's account, which is in a fortified data center, but reaching the digital vault is extremely difficult because of multiple layers of encryption and physical security. On day 15 of the surveillance training, Kyu Gua goes to get some food from a street vendor and sees a few drunk men harassing some women near a nightclub. Wong reminds her through the earpiece that she is undercover and tells her to call the regular police instead of intervening. However, Kyu Gua ignores his order and interferes directly, stepping between the drunks and the women. A fight breaks out immediately. She lands some good punches and kicks, using her training effectively, but the men outnumber her 4-1. Then Wong arrives on foot, having left the van without being seen, and takes all of them down in a matter of seconds with precise, brutal strikes. Back in the van, he scolds her harshly for almost ruining the mission and risking her life. Kyu Gua feels that they are not doing any real work, just watching and waiting, so Wong finally tells her what happened to her father years ago. They had both been undercover for 8 months, infiltrating a human trafficking ring, and at the time, her father felt that they were just wasting time and not saving anyone. When Wong saw some criminals trying to kidnap a child from a park, he could not stop himself from intervening, breaking their cover. The gang members nearly killed him on the spot. They take their positions around the market, blending in with shoppers. Wong tells Kyu Gua to follow the target closely through the crowd because she is the only officer whom Long Seng has not seen yet during the entire operation. 2 other cops realize that Long Seng is looking in their direction, so they quickly kiss each other to hide their faces, pretending to be a couple. Kyu Gua pretends to look for something that she dropped on the ground, and she sees Long Seng's reflection in a polished metal surface, which confirms his identity without her having to look directly at him. Wong strictly orders everyone not to move their cameras or turn their heads to look back, and Long Seng leaves the market without any suspicion, buying his apples and walking away. Later, from a safe distance, the team sees which building he enters, a modest apartment block on the edge of the city. Kyu Gua decides to go inside as well to get a closer look, but Long Seng immediately recognizes her from the market and readies his knife in his pocket. At the same time, back in the van, Wong reviews the footage from the body cameras and notices that Long Seng looked at Kyu Gua twice, which means he will certainly identify her if she gets too close. Realizing the danger instantly, Wong runs into the building and, while acting like Kyu Gua's angry father who has come to fetch his daughter, he removes her earpiece and whispers a warning. He then casually talks to Long Seng in the hallway, apologizing for his daughter's nosiness, and offers him an apple from his bag. The apple contains a tiny hidden camera that Wong had prepared for just such an encounter, and it captures a clear face shot of Long Seng from close range. Before getting off the elevator, Wong drops the apple piece on the floor so that the evidence remains behind for later collection. Long Seng follows them suspiciously down the hallway, so Wong picks the lock of a random apartment using a tool hidden in his sleeve and pulls Kyu Gua inside. The woman who lives there screams in fear, but Wong gently holds her mouth shut and explains in a whisper that they are police officers. From the Apple camera feed, which is transmitting to the van, the team sees Long Seng going to the 8th floor and entering a door at the end of the hall. Jinchgalant arrives at that floor and installs hidden cameras in the ceiling, and those cameras reveal that Long Seng lives in flat 802 under a fake name. Now the police can make their next plan with concrete intelligence. Wong's team rents the apartment directly across the street on the same floor so that they can keep Long Seng under remote surveillance around the clock and steal his trash every night. In his garbage bags, they find only torn Sudoku puzzles that have been crumpled up, and all of them are unsolvable because the numbers are arranged in impossible patterns. Meanwhile, Long Seng spends his evenings popping bubble wrap in his living room, watching old movies and drinking tea. Later at the market, Wong performs his neighbor act again, pretending to be a retired gambler who just moved into the area. Long Seng comes over for casual talk, and at the same time he secretly scans Wong's body for hidden devices by brushing against him and watching his reactions. They chat about their fake lives, with Wong inventing a story about losing his wife to cancer. Wong says that he has a gambling problem, which is why he has calluses on his hands from shuffling cards and not from holding a gun. Then he invites Long Seng to dinner at his apartment the following evening. Everyone on the surveillance team is shocked when Long Seng actually accepts the invitation without hesitation. That evening, Wong and Kyugwa pay the aunt who owns the flat a large sum of money to use her home for the dinner. Long Seng arrives exactly on time and checks every corner of the apartment for hidden devices, even looking under the furniture and inside the lampshades. At dinner, he puts his phone on the table face up, and Kyugwa does the same so that she can later copy his contact information through a nearby reader. He keeps asking random questions about their supposed lives, such as where they grew up and what schools they attended, to see if their stories match. Wong remembers real details from Kyugwa's childhood because he was there, and she realizes with emotion that he has always been protecting her from a distance, even after her father died. After Long Seng leaves, he immediately calls Shiming and tells him to check Wong and Kyugwa's backgrounds thoroughly. Shiming has already installed his own hidden cameras in the flat without anyone knowing, and he has been recording everything. The police know that their communication system is being hacked, so they have created fake profiles for Wong and Kyugwa online, complete with false employment records and social media accounts. Later that night, someone knocks on the door of the aunt's flat. Wong opens it cautiously and finds Shiming's twin brother, Shawang, standing there with a gun in his hand. A brutal fight erupts between them instantly. Wong disarms him of one gun, but Shawang has a second gun hidden in his jacket and opens fire, shooting wildly around the room. Wong goes quiet behind an overturned couch until the shooting stops to reload, and then he resumes the fight, trashing the entire flat in the process. Shiming watches everything on his screen from the gang's hideout, but he is not shocked because this is all part of his plan. During dinner, he hacked Kyugwa's phone through a wireless exploit, and now he has access to the police station's camera feed as well. The surveillance team across the street does not see the fight happening because Shiming is showing them fake footage that he looped from earlier in the evening. They only realize that something is wrong when they try to enter the flat to check on Wong and find the door locked, while still seeing a peaceful scene on their screens. They rush to investigate, breaking down the door. Shiming warns his brother through an earpiece that the police are coming, so Shawang fires a few more shots to give Wong cover, and then he uses special climbing cables to jump from the balcony and escape through a window on the next floor. The next morning, the surveillance team returns to their position across the street, and the other cops search Long Seng's flat after obtaining a warrant. A cabinet in his bedroom is completely filled with bubble wrap of different sizes, and Wong realizes that there is a code connection between the bubble wrap and the Sudoku puzzles. He theorizes that the pop pattern corresponds to Braille dots. Suddenly, a large delivery truck slams into their surveillance van, sending it spinning across the street and into the side of a police building. The truck splits in two on impact and hits the van again, knocking everyone inside unconscious. Then a group of heavily armed mercenaries emerges from 3 Mercedes cars and begins attacking the police station directly. Many cops are killed in the initial assault, and police cars explode in the parking lot. Jumai, watching from an upper window, realizes that this is all a distraction to draw attention away from Long Seng, and she tells the surveillance team over the radio to stay on the street and find him no matter what. Kyugwa regains consciousness in the wrecked van and pulls Wong out of the car through a broken window. She grabs a fallen officer's gun and joins the fight, taking down several mercenaries with precise headshots from behind cover. Inside the station, the remaining mercenaries advance through the hallways and blow up several rooms with grenades to create chaos. The 2 members of the surveillance team who were not in the van find Long Seng at an abandoned orphanage on the outskirts of the city, using the decoded coordinates. Jumai is about to give them instructions over the radio when the power to the police building is suddenly cut by a remote hack, and the team loses their connection completely. Inside the orphanage, Long Seng spots several thugs waiting for him in the shadows and realizes that Shiming has set him up as a decoy. However, he is a formidable fighter with decades of experience, and he handles all of them at once, using chairs, pipes, and his bare hands. He gets wounded in the process, with a deep cut on his arm and a bruised rib. Back at the station, Wong keeps fighting the mercenaries in the corridors. They are specifically after him because a large bounty has been placed on his head by an unknown client. He moves from room to room, taking punches and knife slashes, but taking down just as many mercenaries with his own brutal efficiency. Kyugwa quietly makes her way to a secured communications room and finds a satellite phone that still works. She tells Jing Xiao about the Braille code and the orphanage location, then a mercenary attacks her from behind. After a desperate struggle that goes across the floor, she throws him out of a window and wins the fight just as backup from neighboring districts arrives. The police force ends the entire fight within minutes, arresting or killing the remaining mercenaries. At the orphanage, after a long and brutal battle, Long Seng has eliminated all the thugs, leaving them unconscious or dead on the floor. In his rage and pain, he points his knife at a security camera in the corner, knowing that Shiming is watching. Then Xu Wang emerges from the shadows and reveals that this was all his idea, not Shiming's. He wanted to test Long Seng's loyalty and skill. Shiming, watching from the hideout, is shocked because his brother was not part of his original plan at all. Xu Wang says that leaving Long Seng alive after all these years is too dangerous, and he jumps on him, starting a final fight between the two veterans. Both of them are tremendous fighters, evenly matched in strength and technique. They land heavy blows on each other, breaking furniture and walls until they crash through a large window and fall 2 stories onto a pile of debris. Xu Wang sees a knife buried in his own stomach as Long Seng chokes him with both hands. He tries to attack with the knife, but Long Seng twists his arm and drives the blade deeper, killing him instantly. As the police surround the orphanage with dozens of cars and helicopters, a weeping Shiming is forced to activate the explosives that he had planted earlier according to his original plan, blowing up the building and everything inside. Sometime later, Jumai tells Wang and Kyugwa that she stored all of the CEO's $10 billion in crypto in the police station's main server for safety after the last mission, thinking it would be untouchable there. When they check the safe in the evidence room, however, it is completely empty. It turns out that the thieves disguised themselves as a police backup team in the chaos of the mercenary attack, and they cleaned out the safe, while everyone was rescuing the injured, officers and fighting the fires. After the explosion at the orphanage, Long Seng survives by hiding in a basement and crawls out of the debris hours later, crying out for Xu Wang, his fallen rival. The police find him and surround him, and he surrenders quietly, saying that he will cooperate fully in exchange for a reduced sentence. At the station, Jumai turns Spice back on now that the hack has been neutralized, and the computer immediately traces the thieves' getaway van to the same hotel where the story began. The police follow it in force, blocking all exits. The remaining thieves scatter in different directions through the hotel's many floors and service passages. Wang catches Shiming in the laundry room, surrounded by piles of white sheets, and they begin a one-on-one fight. 2 other thieves jump in and tell Shiming to run while they hold off Wang. They fight in perfect sync, using coordinated attacks that make it difficult for Wang to defend against both at once. Outside, Kyugwa notices that a big corporate event is happening in the hotel's ballroom, with hundreds of guests in formal wear. She guesses that Shiming will try to hide in the crowd, but she cannot find him among all the similar suits and dresses. In the police truck, Yalai returns Long Seng's phone to him and tells him to call Shiming and convince him to surrender. Jin Xiao finds Kyugwa in the ballroom and gives her his own earpiece before he continues the search on his own. Wang jumps on a man who matches the description that Long Seng gave, but that man is just a civilian who swapped clothes with Shiming in a bathroom. Shiming then enters the train station beneath the hotel, and Jinsha follows him because he cannot contact the team through the jammed radios. Unfortunately, Long Seng, who has escaped from the truck, bumps into Jinsha on the platform and stabs him in the stomach to stop him from pursuing. He then reaches Shiming on the other side of the tracks and stabs him multiple times, finally killing him with his own knife in a fit of rage and betrayal. Before he dies, Shiming whispers the crypto password to Long Seng as an act of final loyalty. The police capture the 2 thieves from the laundry room, and Kyugwa finds Jin Xiao lying in a pool of blood, but he dies in her arms before help can arrive. A few days later, the police have no leads on Long Seng because there is no trace of movement from the stolen money across any blockchain or exchange. Wang says that Long Seng is an old-school thief who grew up before the digital age, and he probably has no idea how to cash out crypto or even access the account. The police capture the 2 thieves from the laundry room, and Kyugwa finds Jin Xiao lying in a pool of blood, but he dies in her arms before help can arrive. A few days later, the police have no leads on Long Seng because there is no trace of movement from the stolen money across any blockchain or exchange. Wang says that Long Seng is an old-school thief who grew up before the digital age, and he probably has no idea how to cash out crypto or even access the account.
Subscribe for more.